what happens when an anime character gets to meet its creator? You get disappointment. I absolutely loved when we see one of the characters look at who is their creator, and we just see the typical weeb otaku guy who probably isn't really interacting with many people. He just kind of looks like a slob. And it's just like this utter disappointment, but it's like, well, let's give him the benefit of the doubt. Absolutely love that concept, and it just made me think, like, wouldn't it be great to have, like, Guts meet Berserk's manga author and be like, why do you make me suffer so much? Or have, like, Gon meet Togashi from Hunter x Hunter and be like, why don't you finish my manga series? There'd be so many great, like, just conversations some of these characters could have with their creators, being like, why are you such a sick fuck? Absolutely love this episode. I didn't enjoy it as much as the first episode, but it had its moments. Like, there was even a moment in this episode which I absolutely love. Favorite moment in the entire episode. When the magical girl literally uses her attack and sees the damage that she caused. Because in all these, like, Sailor Moon, all these, like, child magical girl shows, there's no damage, there's no blood. And she sees what she did to this girl. She actually hurt her, and she's like, you're not supposed to feel pain. That's not how it works. And it's a quick moment. It gets brushed aside because they're in the middle of combat, but I loved that moment because it makes me believe that we're gonna have multiple things like that, have different kind of character tropes who, because all these different worlds, they have their own rule set, they have their own mentalities, and a magical girl in a magical girl series doesn't really have violence. Sure, they fight, but there isn't pain, there isn't, actual killing. More times than not. I mean, granted, Madoka Magica, but at the core, we got their Sailor Moons and things like that. And I absolutely love seeing a character realize that we're not in my own world anymore, these rules no longer apply. And it's going to be so interesting seeing different characters from different genres, from different stories, from different worlds. Not only get to meet their creators, figure out what they need to do in this world, why they were brought here, but also can they maybe save the world because their creator will have the ability to rewrite their world possibly. I mean, we get a bit of a hint, are their worlds completely separate or are they connected currently? Because as you would think is they are completely separate worlds, but it seems like there is some sort of bridge, so probably the creator could write in, fix, any sort of calamity that could be happening in any of these worlds. But I just love seeing that magical girl literally have that realization, I messed up, this girl's actually in damage, oh wait, she's kind of upset with me. And it's just this moment before, like, I guess it's like the rival of one of these other series, he comes in and he's a badass with a sword, stops this magical, literally like an atomic bomb magical girl attack, which was absolutely awesome, literally destroying the city. It's so interesting because for the most part, this episode, it wasn't action until like the last few minutes of the episode, and I was perfectly fine with it. I thought it was very entertaining watching these two characters being like, we need to figure out who our creators is, let's get to know them, figure out, who they are and why we were brought in this world. But also, it leads me to believe that eventually some of the drawings that our main character was drawing probably are either already brought to life or they will be brought to life later on. It's just a matter of why are they all brought here, because still we don't know exactly why all these individual characters were brought here. But also something I really liked is something that happens in like the Fate series, where the servants try to keep their identity a secret, because once you know who a servant is, you then know their weaknesses because you can read up on their past and things like that. You know what their holy weapon is. And the similar thing is people are trying to keep their, identities a secret for a little bit here. So it's going to be interesting how that's going to play a factor later on with certain characters maybe not knowing who they are. Like, I've never read of this character. Who is this character? Why is he so strong? And why are they trying to kill us? There's a lot of ways that they can take this story, and so far, I'm really engaged. I mean, some people may not be a fan of the comedy that they went with this. It was kind of typical. It wasn't anything out of the ordinary, but I had a fun time with just the banter that they had, some of the cute moments, like one of the anime characters literally being like, this flavor in this world, it's so like multi-layered, you guys are great, and it's just fast food. But I mean, it's just kind of funny because if you literally had like a medieval character brought in to eat McDonald's, they probably would actually really like it, despite it not being that good of food. And I just like the little banter to even the really good action, but just seeing how the characters are meshing in and seeing the difference in their worlds and how they're interacting with it, I thought it was pretty fun. Even trying to use restoration magic to clean a room, that shit cracked me up. The visuals weren't anything near as impressive as the first episode, though I will say the music was just as good when they were using it, but I mean, the action scenes are still looking very good, and just overall, I find this to be a really interesting story hook. It's not going completely explosive, like non-stop. This is a 22 episode series, so they have the time to slowly build up to the epicness. I mean, some people may not be a fan of this episode, but I absolutely loved it myself. The characters so far, I mean, the main protagonist, he's nothing that special. We've seen him before, but I think he may serve a really cool purpose later on, and if not, so far the supporting cast at least has my interest if nothing else. But I really like this episode, and I'd be interested here. What everyone think of episode 2 of Recreators? Did you love it, do you hate it, or do you think it was just okay? Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below, and before you leave, hit that like button to share your support. If you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe. So until next time everyone, please take care and have a good one.